What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the PS5 Career Mode. This is episode number 50, and today we are returning with a brand new season as our 5th year at the Kai Prince Foundation Stadium gets underway, and it's also a special thank you episode to commemorate hitting 50 episodes in this series. So if you're a new viewer to the channel, basically every time we hit 50 or 100 episodes in a Career Mode series, I make a special long episode to say thank you for all the support on the save so far, and this one is no exception. So I do want to start the episode off as we officially end Season 4 by running through the leagues across the world by saying thank you so much for all the support on the series so far. You know, to be entering Season 5 in our 50th episode of The Save is amazing. I've never done a career mode at this sort of pace before, but I think it's just really awesome how quickly we're getting through this save, but also as well how much you guys are enjoying the realism aspect of this series too, and in general the support you guys have given me right from the very first episode, which feels like it was only about 2 weeks ago, has been absolutely amazing. So sincerely, thank you so much for all the support on this series so far. 50 episodes down and a long way to go, so thank you so much guys, I really appreciate it. So what's in store for the special episode number 50? Well, if I were you, I'd pause the video right now, go make yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a sandwich, something to eat or whatever, because this is going to be a super long episode. It's around 37 minutes long, and you're going to see the entire summer transfer window in today's episode, and it's an absolutely massive one full of so much drama as well. It's a crazy transfer window. You'll see the entire months of July and August today. Took an awful long time to make this episode, but I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. And as we start the season off, as you can see, oh my goodness gracious me, yes, for the first time in the series so far, can you believe it, after years and years of waiting, the board has said, you know what, it's time to open the wallet, it's time to open the checkbook. Yes, we've finally got a big budget for Season 5, £84 million is what the board have given to us, and in the transfer policy they've said, we're a European club, to start acting like one. Look for better players, or not just young players, to develop. If big clubs come knocking on the door for our star players, let them go. It's only fair. And also as well, we need more quality in depth. To be competitive, we need a thicker squad. That was our problem last year. We could only compete in the Premier League. In the Cup in Europe, we failed massively because we didn't have the quality in depth for the right sort of rotation required. Now, so the objectives this season, the board have said finish in the top 4 in the Premier League, reach the semi-final of the FA Cup, and win the Europa League as well. Yep, that's right. Last season we failed to win a trophy for the first time since Season 2. So we need to win another one this season. And the board won the Europa League. They also wanted to score at least 60 plus goals this season as well. Last year we finally got over the 50 hurdle. This year they got a taste for more goals. Now they want to see us score 60 plus league goals in the season. Bloody hell, that's going to be really difficult, but I'll do my very best. And as you take a look at the squad as well, again, over £80 million in the transfer budget. Finally, the board giving us a big checkbook to work with for this summer transfer window. You know, we're a European club now. Like the board said, it's time to be a bit more assertive in the transfer window. Not just look for those young players we can develop, but players that are good enough now to be stars in this team right from the very first minute they arrive through the door. So, as you take a look at the squad, I talked about it last season, we're a 4.5-star team, but we're on the cusp of becoming a 5-star team, and spoilers, it does happen in today's episode as well. You see the players that are retiring coming in the season as well. Chris Smalling and Adel Taarabt, the club legend, are both going to be retiring this season. Bit of a shame, but I think for the best really, as they are now in their mid-30s, and we're looking to bring through those younger players, of course. But you would have noticed it as well, and well, actually I don't want to spoil it for you, I'll just continue. But as you take a look at the squad here, again, it is a really good team. The first 11 is fantastic, but the problem is, and you heard me talk about it there, we don't have enough quality and depth in this team. We've got a really thick squad, don't get me wrong, 49 players in our first team squad, but really, outside the first 11 in the bench, there's no one in the resis with a great deal of quality. It's just a bunch of veterans and a bunch of kids, and many of them don't really show much potential at all. So yeah, we need to improve the depth of this squad, no doubt about it. And that is going to be my main policy in this transfer window as well. You know, bring in some good first team quality players, but also make sure we've got a thicker squad and more quality and depth this year as well. Real briefly on the youth academy though, as you can see, the objectives from the board this season are to keep one scout in England, look for those London talents. We'd like to look for those homegrown talents and actually send them out this season. Yes, I know some of you guys pointed out in the comment section throughout the course of last season, I didn't send my scouts out last year. I'll do it this time around. And also, we want to find young strikers and goalkeepers, because at the moment, those are the positions where we're lacking. We can't seem to find good strikers or good goalkeepers at the academy at the moment. And as the players, the deals are coming to the end of the year as well. Quite a few noteworthy players: Ozcan, Jed Spence, Cameron Wilkinson will definitely get a new contract. Lewis Baker as well. A few players, of course, will be leaving on frees or being cashed in on or retiring in the case of Smalling and also Tarat. But the one player that's staying, come on, the boys, I can't believe this man, 41 years old. But he doesn't want to retire just yet. Ben Foster signs another 1-year extension and he is staying. Once again, takes another pay cut to 10 grand a week. And the cycling GK has signed another 1-year extension, which takes his contract up to 2 years in total, which means he'll be playing until he's 43 to 44 years old if he retires at the end of that contract, which I'm pretty sure he will do so. I can't believe it though. I can't believe the cycling GK wants to continue playing. It's absolutely mad. Wilkinson did sign a new contract extension now, of course, one of our best young prospects. He signed a new extension, 20 grand a week as well. Definitely deserves that, no doubt about it, because whilst his progress has been quite slow, he is still a really important member of our squad. And you take a look at the players who are on the transfer and the loan list as well. Unbelievable, man. I talked about it briefly last season. I really struggle to loan out youth players. I just can't do it. But there's loads on there, and hopefully at least a couple of those will leave on loan this season. Also, as I was going through my traditional annual search of the free agents pool, I found this guy. You might have heard of him, Leonel Messi, now on a free transfer available, but I'm not going to sign him, of course, due to the realism. Thought that was really interesting there. I had to show you that, but yeah, whilst it would be amazing to have Messi here at the Crown Prince Foundation Stadium, I'm not going to bring the Argentine in. And also you'll notice as well, in this transfer window, for the first time, I improved the Global Transfer Network scouts as well. Now we've got more money than ever before. I think it's best to get better transfer scouts as well, because I'm pretty tired of having to wait like 30 days for a scout report on a player I might want to sign. So yeah, I'm going to improve the Transfer Network scouts, the Global Transfer Network scouts this season as well. But as for new signings for QPR this season, well, when you look to the first 11, you'd probably sit there and say the weakest area of the first 11 right now is the holding midfield role. We need someone to come in and play alongside Andy Rinomhota, and this was the guy I wanted to be the one that plays alongside our captain, Weston McKennie, now at West Ham, 25 years old, in the prime of his career, 84 rated, and definitely good enough to be playing Champions League football, let alone Europa League football. We agreed a pretty pricey deal with David Moyes, including Ozcan as well, who of course came in Season 2 on a free transfer. What an absolutely fantastic pickup that was. Of course, he tore his ACL at the start of Season 3, came back last year. He was okay, but really with 1 year left on his deal, I'm not sure how much better he's going to get, so I was okay giving it to West Ham, plus the money as well, and Weston McKennie becomes our first signing of Season 5. So we have a half our budget getting spent on the American as he signs a 5-year deal, but I love this guy's stats. He is literally the definition of versatile. You look at his technical stats here, he could play anywhere. He could literally play anywhere. Physically, he's an absolute machine. He's 6'1", whilst he's got midfield, centre defensive midfield, and centre back as his listed positions. He could play further forward with the finishing stat he's got and the dribbling as well. He could play in a cam role, but to me, I will play him in that holding midfield role and give him a ball-winning midfield development plan. But again, he is literally Mr. Versatile. Captain America could play literally anywhere. Captain America, I don't think so, but not the best nickname there. I think someone else could be called Captain America, not McKennie, but we certainly love him regardless. He looks absolutely fantastic, and again, I love his work ethic. I love his physical stats. Great high stamina, and yeah, McKennie, the first signing of the sort of the big bucks era, if you will, with Queen's Park Rangers this season. However, we did get a very interesting bid here directly after the McKennie deal went through, and it was from Borussia Dortmund wanting to sign Max Aarons for, I think it was 68 million plus Gabriel, the former Arsenal centre-half as well. And it wasn't a bad deal, but considering Aarons' market valuation, I thought we can get more than that. Let's be honest here, combined, that's not enough enough for Max Aaron's true market valuation right now. So the Germans then offered me Jude Bellingham to give him a return to English football, but I said no. I said to Dortmund, I said 140 mil and you can have him, and Dortmund agreed to that deal. So it was 10.5 mil over the market valuation, and Max Aarons goes to Borussia Dortmund. He's 86 rated and only 24 years old. Fact of the matter is, this guy should be playing Champions League football. And of course, due to the transfer policy, the board saying start selling our star players if the big clubs come knocking on the door, I felt both for realism and also to raise even more money to the club, it was best to do that. And I already had a replacement lined up for Max Aarons anyway. Whilst he's one of the highest rated players in the team, and it's really sad to sell him because he's been brilliant since he came in season 2, I already had the replacement lined up for Max Aarons in the shortlist, so I was fine letting him go. Reece James, who moved on from Chelsea to Crystal Palace, also 24 years old, also 86 rated. Crystal Palace last year only just avoided the drop zone, and as we know, they've been underperforming massively throughout the course of the series so far. He's in the final year of his contract. I know Crystal Palace would let him go for a cheap deal. We agreed a £60 million fee with Roy Hodgson as his deal's up come the end of the year, and they didn't want to lose him on a free transfer, and Reece James comes in on a 5-year deal to replace Max Aarons, and talk about fantastic business. £80 million less than what we sold Max Aarons to Dortmund for, and we get a player that's the same overall and the same age as well. Reece James comes in, 5-year deal, 80 grand a week, and what an absolutely fantastic piece of business that was. Sad to sell Max, but I already had my replacement lined up before the season even began. I felt there was going to be a bid for Max. I felt we were going to get some big bids for our star players. We got one, we had the replacement lined up, we signed him on the very same day. Reece James comes in, what a brilliant deal and a brilliant piece of business for QPR. So James comes in, I kind of like it as well, you know, going from Chelsea to Crystal Palace. Of course, he had a brief loan spell at Wigan whilst at Chelsea, but now coming to QPR on a permanent deal as well. The guy doesn't want to leave London, he loves it here, and he'll be doing it for us now for the next 5 years. And also as well, I did decide to give Jed Spence a contract extension too. His deal's up come the end of the year, and I wasn't going to be against cashing in on the ex-Borough boy, but of course, I think he was our first signing of the series, if not first, then second behind Omar Richards, who of course moved on to Hoffenheim a couple of years ago. But yeah, I really like Jed. You know, he's a great backup right back to have, and I love the fact he accepted a squad rotation status as well, because he knows now, behind James, he's going to be the backup boy. He comes in when required and fills in when needed, but he's not going to be a regular starter. He's embracing that role. I love those squad players that embrace that role, and Jed Spence signs a new extension and gets a pay increase as well for his troubles too. 20 grand a week, and it's a new 4-year extension. So a 5-year deal in total. So over 90 million still remaining in the budget, even after the signing of James and McKennie, due to the big sale of Max Aarons, our initial budget as well. So I decided to go after a new backup winger for the bench, and I opted for Grady Diangana, now at West Bromwich Albion, 26 years old, 82 rated. I thought it was quite realistic as well, because we like our inside forwards. That's where Diangana will be playing in this team, an inside forward on the right, and as you'll see in a moment's time, that's the development plan we're giving him. His deal's up come the end of the year, and also as well, West Brom last season were relegated to the Championship, so Grady's got the quality to be playing Premier League football. He wouldn't want to stay in the second tier at the Hawthorn, so Diangana comes in again. When you look at his stats here, 4-star skill moves, high medium work rates, flair trait, very quick, very agile indeed, and without question, I'm going to change his position to right mid, so it will flip the left mid and right mid positions around, because that's where he's going to be best at. We don't have our wingers as traditional wide midfielders. They're inside forwards in this team, so that's where Diangana will be, a backup right midfielder for Nonny Maduke. And I'm not against cashing in on Patrick Roberts this season as well, because he had a decent season for us last year, but nothing too spectacular. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Regardless, it was a loan bid for Jay Potts from Braga, which we rejected, because I do have big plans for Jay this season, and also Fiorentina wanted Chris Willock as well. Chris Willock is one of the very few players that is still here since the very beginning of the save, and I really like him as a backup midfielder as well, so he's going to be staying for us, as is Chris Metham as well. We rejected that bid there. Metham has been fantastic since he came in at the start of Season 3. I really like the English-born Welshman. He's been really good for us. And, well, speaking of loans as well, this is my point here. I touched on it at the start of the episode. I can't seem to loan youth players out. It seems really, really difficult. FC Dallas wanted Blake Collins, one of our youth academy goalkeepers, on loan, but they wanted to sign him permanently after the loan deal. And because he's got, you know, a long way to go in his career, but might have some potential, potential. I said, no, you can have him on loan, but not a loan to buy option. And he just walked out the door. It's like, come on, man, at least negotiate with me. I think if there's one thing I would say to EA about the transfer market in this year's career mode, I'd say it's got to be easier to loan out youth players. It's so hard to negotiate deals. I've got about 15 of them on the loan list right now, but I can't seem to loan anyone out. It's so frustrating. But anyway, the signings will continue. Our third of the window, Gonzalo Velar, formerly of Roma, released by the Italians in the summer. 80 rated, 26 years old. Very good pickup on a free transfer there. Really happy with that one. Looks very composed on the ball. Very good passer at the ball. I must say, possibly a new Alejandro Fowlin, maybe. I know Fowlin was Argentine, but you never know. The QPR fans loved him. And it is another Spanish-speaking good central midfielder, good technical central midfielder. We'll see how he gets on anyway. And also, as well, the time had finally come. We knew it was going to happen at some point. Eddie Nketiah, last year's Golden Boot winner, just missed out on it by 2 goals a couple of years ago. 87 rated, 25 years old, becoming one of the best strikers in the world. Pep Guardiola, there was interest last season. They didn't bite the bullet to get him, but now the Spaniard says he wants to form a gunner, leading the line for them as their long-term Sergio Aguero replacement. I asked him for £210 million. I thought we'd back and forth for a little bit, but Pep just flexed his muscles. He literally just flexed his muscles through that grey jumper and said, 210 million, that's pocket change to a club like Man City. And yeah, they just accepted the counter offer straight away. £210 million for Eddie Nketiah as Dean Gann's position change gets completed here and becomes right midfield, and the deal goes through straight away. Eddie did not need to think about this for long. In 2 days time after the bid was accepted, he signs the thing, and Eddie Nketiah goes from Arsenal to Queen's Park Rangers to Manchester City. £210 million the transfer fee. Gutted to lose him. He's been a star striker for us and a big reason why our offense has improved so much over the past 2 years. And I like the news article as well. Docs will surely regret the decision in the weeks ahead. The question on everyone's lips is, can QPR cope without Eddie Nketiah? Well, 236 million in the budget now because the board skimmed so much off the top of that £210 million deal. That was ludicrous how much money they took out of that deal there. But we had enough to sign the replacement, and I had 2 names in mind. Myron Bawadu had been discussing all throughout the course of this series, and Jonathan David, who's now gone from Lille to Valencia in Spain. I wasn't sure which one to get here because David is 1 year older but 3 ratings higher. They look like very similar players. They're both absolutely rapid with a 5-star weak foot. Bawadu is slightly taller, but with David being better and only 1 year older as well, he's got the solid player trait, which you know I love, the high defensive work rate as well. I thought I'd negotiate with Valencia, see what they wanted for the Canadian. In the end, it was £125 million. And also as well, it's worth noting that Myron Bawadu, he only joined Hertha Berlin during last season, back in January, so he's only been there for 6 months, whereas David's been at Valencia for a couple of years now. Both of those teams, Valencia and Hertha Berlin, last season underperformed. They both finished in 6th place in their respective top-tier leagues and just about scraping Europa League football, so really, I thought either of which would be, you know, very similar, both quite realistic, and again, you know, just my choice, really. In the end, I opted for the Canadian, and Jonathan David comes in on a 5-year deal. So I've opted for the Canadian. We've had good success with North American players so far in this save. As we know, Charlie Kelman, Ebel Bisays came in as well. We just signed Weston McKennie from West Ham, and now David, the Canadian, comes in to join us here at QPR. I love the 5-star week, but I was really driven to the high defensive work rate and the solid player trait as well. The question is, will he be as good as Eddie Nketiah? Last 2 seasons, he was our Player of the Year. Back in Season 3, he won the English Premier League Player of the Year. Last year, he won the Golden Boot. He had a great partnership with Charles Bull. Lest we forget, he's our talisman in this team. Is Jonathan David going to be the right guy to replace Eddie Nketiah? Well, he's taken his old number, and only time will tell whether I made the right call there. Should I have gone for Bawadu? Should I have looked for someone else? Well, we'll find out in time. Jonathan David is in. Regardless, as we sign a new scout for our global transfer network, Lewis Baker has been sold for 3.8 mil to Standard Liège in Belgium. So farewell to Lewis. he gave us some great memories last year with the game winners against Atalanta, and of course his former team Chelsea as well. But after 3 years of us even, Lewis Baker is gone. He was in the final year of his contract, 29 grand a week. He wasn't going to get a new deal, and he didn't increase a single rating throughout all the years he was with us. So I was fine letting him go. He's off to Belgium. Farewell to Lewis, and yeah, he was like one of our first signings in season 2 in the Premier League era, and he has officially gone. Great years of service, to be fair, as a squad player, and he is now off to Belgium. We still had loads of money in the budget, around £100 million still remaining, and I decided to bring in a new centre-back for the new season as well, as the rebuild continues. For Thankyou Tomori, we love signing those ex-Chelsea players, don't we? And bringing him here to QPR. He's gone on to Newcastle in the game. 26 years old now, 83 rated. We gave Steve Bruce Trevor Chalobah as part of the deal as well, and he signs a 5-year, 65 grand a week deal. And again, 83 rated in the prime of his career right now, 26 years old. He could still get a little bit better. I think that's a fantastic deal as well. Quite expensive, over 44 mil plus Trevor Chalobah as well, but Tomori's got some excellent talent. And again, when you look at the centre-backs we've got here, Chris Smalling and Courtney Houston, they're not going to get much better than they are right now. And of course, Smalling's going to retire anyway. Josh Adeyemi, the big Josh, the big boy, the big Nigerian as well. He's not good enough just yet for first-team football. I wanted a better backup player for both Ben White and Chris Metham, or a starter. White and Metham have a good partnership, but as we saw last season, they're kind of injury-prone. You know, one of them seems to be always down whilst the other one is playing, so I needed someone else that can sort of fill in when one of them gets the inevitable injury. So Tomori comes in. He's good enough to start. Whether he takes out Ben White's place or Chris Metham's place, I'm not entirely sure who will be starting with on a regular basis, but for now, I think I'll probably partner him alongside Chris Metham. So yes, what a busy window this has been, and it's not over yet. We've just got through the first month, and there's still another month to go, and I want to say, as well as August now begins, we get a bid here for Courtney House, which we negotiate over Real Sociedad. If you're enjoying the video, guys, please do drop a like. As you can imagine, this took an awful long time to make and play through, so if you're enjoying the video, then please do drop a like. I certainly hope you are, but it's certainly not over yet. We're only halfway through. So as August begins, we have a bid here for Courtney House, the 29-year-old. Of course, we signed a couple of years ago. Real Sociedad wanted to take him to Spain. I thought we'd get a bit more money for that though than over the market valuation. We negotiated 15 million for Courtney House. I know he's 29 years old now, but still a very reliable squad centre half. But I was okay selling him. I do want to get Big Josh a bit more game time this year. So House goes to Real Sociedad. £15 million was the deal, and that now rises our budget up to £75 million. So after all the signings we made, as you take a look at our squad before the first game of the season, Jonathan David, Weston McKennie, Reece James, obviously I know we signed Velar on a free transfer, but Dean Ghana, Thankyou Tomori, after all of the signings, we still got £75 million remaining. We have had an incredibly busy transfer window, yet we've barely lost any money despite totally transforming this QPR team. I'll tell you what, man, I've said it before and I'll say it once again. I love the way we are managing the finances here with Queen's Park Rangers. It is absolutely fantastic. And you know the saying, you'll be hearing it later on today. Don't talk about net spend, talk about net. Sorry, no, don't talk about... You know, for the amount of times I've used that clip, I should know the saying by now. Don't talk about spend, talk about net spend. So, after all the signings and the transformation, we are now a 5-star team. 83 for attacking midfield and defence as well. Officially a 5-star team. We were on the cusp last season. We've now officially became one. And whilst we're not as good as some of the teams in the league, the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool and the Manchester clubs and Spurs as well, I think I worked out as I run you through the team sheets of all the teams here in the Premier League right now. I think we're the 5th best or possibly 6th best team in the division. So really, I think we've got the quality to break up the top 4 this year. That's what the board wants us to do. It's going to be difficult, but I think we've got what it takes. Again, I think we're the 5th best team in the division now. I think we've got what it takes to be a top 4 team. It's going to be tough, but we've added real great first team quality to the side. We've still got more money to come. We've got quality and depth now as well. I think we've got what it takes. The board want the Europa League this year as a winnable trophy as well. Basically, the board has said, next year Champions League football, guys. That's a minimum requirement. Whether you do it via the Europa League, win the competition, or you do it via the top 4, they don't care. Well, really, they want both, but regardless, they want to see us in the Champions League next season. It's doable. It's definitely doable. It's going to be hard, but I think now we've certainly got the quality to do that. We broke out the top 6 last year, the first team to do it. There's no reason we can't break out the top 4 this season as well. So for the first game of the season, the new era here at the Kind Prince Foundation Stadium, no Max Aarons and no Eddie Nketiah as well. Taking on Carlo Ancelotti sees Everton here in West London for the first game of the season. So much expectation on this QPR team, and when a team has so much change as well, they sell some star players, they bring in a load of new signs as well. The real question is, not have they got the quality, but have they got the chemistry to work as a team? Well, for the first goal of the new season, it is my best team goal of FIFA 21 so far. You talk about chemistry, that's tech chemistry right there. 6 minutes into the game, Weston McKennie, our first new signing of the season, scores the first goal of the campaign, getting the assist from Jonathan David. Every player on the pitch for QPR, apart from Jamal Lewis and Freddie Woodman, touched the ball in that build-up. Right from kickoff, we didn't surrender possession once, and McKennie caps off an amazing team goal. Chemistry problems? What chemistry problems? And 12 minutes later, leading by a goal. It's a first of the year for Charles Bull as he mocks the Matador and doubles the score. And I have to say, this season, now he's lost his Batman to his Robin, this is the year where Charles Bull, I think, becomes the star of this team. You know, last year I'd say he was our third best player behind Nketiah and Eze. The year before that he was our second best player behind Eddie Nketiah. But this is the year for Charles, I think now. He's not just one of the rising stars in European football, he's one of the best players in world football. This is Charles Bull's year. I've got to say, I've got big ambitions and big hopes for the kid. He's going to turn from the youngster to the man, and the Bull is going to have to assert himself this year. It's his team now. If he wants it, this is his team. He can become a leader at this team and not just the sidekick. So we led by 3 in 34 minutes in this game. Jonathan David getting his first goal of the season on his debut for the club as well. And then a few minutes later, look at this, Freddie Woodman. What a save by our number 1 there, keeping us leading by 3 as we were trying to keep hold of the clean sheet at least before the break. But a couple of minutes after that, sorry about that. That was my fault. Yeah, that was really terrible. Freddie makes an incredible save on a 1-on-1. I've said before, he's probably the best goalkeeper I've used in FIFA 21 so far, but I can't blame him for this one. I've got to take the blame. You know me, I always play out from the back. I never like to just hoof it clear, but what's that saying you're taught at 6 years old? When in doubt, kick it out. Come on, Docs, you're 28 years old now. Get to grips with it. You should not be doing that sort of stuff. Silly from me there. Cheap goal for Everton to score. Back in the game, 3-1, a glimmer of hope, but they reduced the 2-goal cushion, not for long. Right before the break, we added our 4th goal and restored the 3-goal cushion. Charles Bull with another assist, whips one to the back stick, and who's there to head home from close range? Abrechi Eze, our second best player in the team last year, makes it 4-1, and in an incredible first half display, we scored all 4 of the goals, and that was how the game would finish as well. Final score, QPR 4, Everton 1, and again, last season, we scored over 50 goals in the Premier League for the first time in the series. This year, the board wants 60. I really do believe this year that is definitely doable. I know it's going to be hard. I do struggle to score goals in this year's FIFA, but we've certainly got the attacking quality. I know we've lost Eddie Nketiah, the Golden Boot winner, but for Charles this season, he got 2 assists and a goal on the opening day. He's now grown to 83 overall at 20 years old. Again, I said it earlier, if he wants to be the star of this team, he can be, no doubt about it. Andy will remain the club captain because we love Big Andy, but Charles this season, I feel he can become the star of this team, and not the Robin, not the sidekick, not the kid that's got a point to prove, but instead the star in this team and one of the best players in the Premier League. So for the second game of the season, taking on Southampton away at St Mary's, oh my word, whilst I want to see Charles add more goals to his game this season, we can't forget about his best asset. He's like LeBron James. The King's going to become the all-time leader in points scored in the NBA history when his career is said and done. But it's not his best skill. LeBron's best skill is passing, and it's the same with Charles. He can score goals, but look at this. What a ball by the Bull. Incredible vision to spot Noni Majuk at the back stick as the former PSV and Spurs man gets his first goal of the campaign. And Charles was just having fun to start this season off, man. He was just having fun out there, absolutely dominating. And Weston McKennie here almost got his second goal in 2, hitting that shot off the top of the crossbar as it goes behind for a goal kick. But 1-0 the final score, and whilst we only scored 1 in this game, really had my finishing been better, we would have won this game by 3 or 4 goals once again. Defensively shut down the Saints. They had no chance whatsoever in the game, but Bull was just pulling the strings out there, and I wish I would have converted that chance there on McKennie. What an assist that would have been. But the first goal, well, the only goal of the game, was Duke's goal. That assist, I mean, seriously, that was incredible, man. I really should have done an instant replay for that, because the through ball to the back stick, you heard Nonny shout to Jonathan and say, leave it, it's mine, as he volleys home. That was incredible from Charles, man. And again, to start the season off, he was just on absolute flames. 17 minutes into our third game of the season, taking on Wolves. Both teams starting the campaign off with 2 wins from 2. Taking on Nuno's boys here. A Brett Gize's second goal in 3 gives us the lead. And who gets another assist? It's Charles Bull, the kid, once again. Trying to transition and become a man and the star of this team. Well, he started off with that sort of intent. 1-0 QPR, we lead early in the game. Right before the break, still leading by a goal. Looking to double the lead and make it 2-0. McKennie finds Charles. Quick little back heel into Jay Da Silva, down left hand side, back into the Bull, quick little flick to Weston McKennie, and McKennie, the American, I love how far forward he's getting in this team as well, because I said when we signed him, he's Mr. Versatile, this guy can play anywhere, and whilst he's got defensive stats and defensive listed positions, I said this guy could play further forward. What a fantastic start for McKennie, 2 goals in 3 games, he's always popping up in the right areas, a la Frank Lampard. So 2-0 QPR, and in the second half, I mean, this was just obvious, wasn't it? Naby Keita, my arch nemesis, scores against me once again. The former Liverpool and Leipzig midfielder makes it 2-1. Deficit halved, Wolves back in the game, but thankfully, despite his best efforts, we held on for the 3 points and our 3rd straight win. Final score, QPR 2, Wolves 1. What a start to the season for Queen's Park Rangers. Following the victory, the Europa League groups were drawn, and as you can see, this season we have got Group J, Nîmes Olympique, FC Steaua Bucharest, and also Rangers, Glasgow Rangers in Group J as well. As we know this season, probably going to win the SPL in real life for the first time in God knows how long. We got them in our Europa League group alongside Nîmes Olympique and also Steaua Bucharest as well. I feel very confident topping that group. And I know last season I said when the groups were joined, oh, you know what, that could be a difficult group, that one. It might be very difficult to get through it. We might have to settle for a runners-up place. In the end, we did. What kind of accent was that? In the end, we did finish runners-up. We got through it pretty comfortably. I'd say this year we're firm favourites to win that group. I'm looking forward to the Rangers ties as well. You know, I really hope in future versions of FIFA, EA add both Ibrox and Celtic Park into FIFA career mode. I think it's a travesty that those are 2 real iconic British grounds and they're not in FIFA. It's really, really frustrating. They should both be in FIFA in my opinion, no doubt about it. And possibly some other Scottish stadiums as well. There's no Scottish stadiums in FIFA. For those that aren't aware of this, there's no Scottish stadiums at all. Pittodrie's not in there. There's not a single Scottish stadium in FIFA. It's so frustrating, but still. Anyway, I definitely put us favourites for that group, no doubt about it. And for our 4th and final game of today's long, big thank you special episode, we take on Fulham, right now rock bottom of the Premier League, winless in their first 3 games away at Craven Cottage in a West London derby. Certainly fancying our chances of our 4th straight win. And this is the season. This is the year of the Bull, if you will. 2 early goals in the first half, linking up with Charlie Kelman, getting the nod ahead of Jonathan David in this game as we went 2 goals up before the break. And in the second half, a chance to make it 3, and we do so. Weston McKennie, 3rd goal in 4 games for the new American. He's on fire to start the campaign off. And right after that, Fulham capitulated, leading by 3, a chance to make it 4. And Charlie Kelman, oh, how nice was that to see in front of the visiting fans. Dinks it over the goalkeeper, makes it 4-0 to Queen's Park Rangers, and that was how the game would finish as well. A cheeky little chip from Charlie. And this season as well, I really do believe he can possibly compete with Jonathan David for our starting striker role. He was amazing in this game, 2 assists and a goal as well. And he's already equalled his goal tally in the Premier League last season in his first game of the campaign. He scored 1 Premier League goal all season long last year, and I know most of his goals, or basically all of his goals, came in the cups in Europe, but I believe this year Kelman could compete with Jonathan David for that starting striker role. Regardless, for Charles Bull, he gets the champagne and all the plaudits once again. 2 goals and 2 assists for the Bull. He is on fire to start the campaign off, and after 4 wins in our first 4 games, a 100% record, while still 75 million in the budget as we enter transfer deadline day, I didn't feel the need to make major changes, because why mess with a winning formula to start the campaign off? The only thing I thought was we could possibly do with a better backup goalkeeper. We love the cycling GK, but at 41 years old now, I think we need someone a bit better and someone a bit younger. And I thought, you know what? He's 3rd choice goalkeeper at Spurs right now behind David De Gea and Hugo Lloris. I had to do it. Yes, if you're a fan of Docs, you're a fan of this man. Paulo Gazzaniga, one of the original cult heroes of my career mode saves. I had to do it. He's never going to get a game at Spurs. He's third choice goalkeeper behind two incredible shot stoppers in Lloris and David De Gea. So I said to Mourinho, come on, you're never going to play him. Give him to us. We'll give you 10 million for him. And Paulo Gazzaniga signs a 2-year deal. He's 9 years younger than Foster. I didn't want someone that's going to be like already able to compete with Freddie Woodman for the #1 role, but I wanted a younger and more competent backup goalkeeper, and we've got one as well. Paulo Gazzaniga shakes my hand. I'll never wash it again. Gazzaniga is in 88 kicking, and again, if you're a fan of mine, you're a fan of Paulo. He is a legend on my channel, and I had to bring him back. Welcome, Paulo. We got ourselves a better and slightly younger backup goalkeeper now. I'm absolutely buzzing to have Paulo in this save as well. I love Paulo, man. I'll always love Paulo Gazzaniga, one of the biggest legends on my channel ever. So as transfer deadline day was winding down, we still had tons of money remaining in the budget, but I thought, no, I'm not going to make any more moves. I'm going to leave the squad as it is and wait until January. We might make some bigger moves. We had a loan deal for Chris Willock, which of course we rejected, and also Fiorentina wanted Charlie Kelman, but I said to the Italians, no, he's staying here. I got big ambitions for Charlie Kelman this year, and I really do believe, again, whilst he is 8 ratings lower than the Canadian, he could battle for that starting striker role. He certainly proved his worth in the last game against Fulham. So that was it then. Transfer deadline day ends, and what an incredible window it was for Queen's Park Rangers, and an exhausting one at that. As you'll see, in total, we spent £311.2 million, but for the third straight summer transfer window, we made a net profit. We raised over £368 million for the player sales, most of which being from Nketiah and Max Aarons as well. But it's a common theme, and it's a common saying, Queen's Park Rangers love their money. They're always raising more than they spend. And you know the saying.
Fella, talk about net spend. Don't talk about spend. Don't talk about spend. Don't talk about spend. Talk about net spend.
A £57.5 million profit in this summer transfer window. And despite losing Eddie Nketiah, our talisman, and an amazing right back in Max Aarons, we've made our squad thicker, we've made it better, we've made it slightly younger, we've got more quality in the first 11 and in depth as well. Queen's Park Rangers this year have been transformed, and we are without question one of the best teams in England. No doubt about that. The board are asking for a top 4 place, and after 4 wins from 4 and a 100% record to start the season off, we've eradicated the biggest problem, which was the quality and depth. We've got such a thick squad, man. I mean, this squad is thicker than Megan Thee Stallion and almost as sexy. There is no negative to this team now. There is no reason we can't be competitive in the Cups and in Europe as well, unlike last season where we came up short due to the lack of depth. We've got the quality to break into top 4. We transformed this team. It's the best we've ever had. This is the season for Queen's Park Rangers. But that will end today's episode, and a big special thank you episode, guys. So a massive thank you for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed episode number 50, then please do drop a like. It took so long to make, but I really hope you enjoyed it. Have a fantastic day, guys. Much love to you all sincerely, and thank you so much for all the support on the series so far. Have a great day, and I'll see you for the next episode of the PS5 Career Mode very soon.